as Interfaith. Yeah, we are being live streamed officially. I think if I recall, it will show up on Facebook. There we go. We are live. I see us here. Okay, well, ooh, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook world. Welcome to Interfaith Philadelphia's Giving Tuesday Facebook Live, the best of all of the days and the best of all of the hours. I am Sarah, and I am here with Lindsay and Moji, and we're going to have a couple of people joining us soon, and we will do introductions more deeply in a moment. But I just want to welcome you all. Thank you for joining us on Giving Tuesday. Today is a day where people all across the world are giving to organizations they care about. And we at Interfaith Philadelphia are doing, working to bring people together every single day to help people dare to understand one another. And we hope that you'll consider putting us into your Giving Tuesday donations today. And I am putting a link in the chat right now where you can donate. But let's start off. We have Ashik joined us. Hey, Ashik. Let's start off with introductions, maybe with a who are you and why are you here with us at the moment? Moji, you want to start?
Sure. So I'm Moji Sabrin. Who am I? That's the question. I live in Melbourne. In the middle of my lunchtime right now. I see patients today, so we move things around, so I could be here, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm on the board of Interfaith Philadelphia, and I think it's been 3 or 4 years, and loving it. It's a wonderful organization because it does do everything in many, many, many different ways to bring people together that are usually don't have opportunities to come together, to get to know about each other, because knowledge, ignorance is, why people have prejudices, and by learning and being open, you learn to get rid of prejudices and see everybody as members of one human family. Was that all the questions?
That's great. Yeah, there'll be more in a bit, but yes, that is amazing. Thank you.
Here comes Bridget.
Yeah. Ashik, we'll jump over to you. Who are you and why are you here?
So good morning. My name is Ashik Fazlullah. I'm dialing in from Swarthmore College today. I'm the Muslim student advisor at Villanova University and affiliate advisor at Swarthmore College. I've been in some way working affiliated tangent to Interfaith Philadelphia for about 6 years. And then the last couple of years as a board member, and it's grown, its scope of activities improved internally, and I just think that it's always responsive to community needs. So it's something to think about, that if you don't find programming that interests you, get involved, and I think there's always ways to broaden our outreach and programming in that way.
Thanks. And yeah, I'll say with that I think one of the things that I'm really grateful, #grateful for, is, I've been with Interfaith Philadelphia for a year now, and everyone that gets involved brings something new and suggests a new program and makes it happen. We have an alumni committee that just formed and is already running 2 new programs. And that's something that I'm really grateful for everyone, for all of you and for everyone that gets involved too. Bridget, hi, welcome to our Facebook Live.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. So the question on the table that we opened with is, who are you and why are you here?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So I am Bridget Battles, and I am what you call a corporatepreneur. I have a corporate job at Thomas Jefferson University and Jefferson Health, where I manage community engagement and supplier diversity. And then also I am a small business owner for the Bridget Battles Experience, where I teach you how to up-level your personal and your professional brand. I teach you how to lead like you own it. So you asked me, why am I here? So I'm here for several reasons, but I think two that are very important to me. Number one is that my give back in the community, my give back, to be able to share some of my gifts and talents that can really help our local areas is very important to me. I feel like I'm super blessed and have been given a lot of great opportunities. And so to be able to be that person or that liaison to help other people navigate life, whether or not it's through faith-based or whether or not it's through, supplier diversity, whether or not it's helping create an inclusive atmosphere, an inclusive culture, whatever it is, out of all those gifts that I possess, it's important for me to be able to give those things back, because I think one of my own personal assignments is that as a leader, my job is to help create other leaders. So in a nutshell, that's why I'm here.
And I'll just add that you recently, this year, joined the board of Interfaith Philadelphia.
Yes, I just joined the board. Yes. Yes. And I'm looking on Facebook now to see if, because I'm competitive, I'm looking on Facebook to see if I won the competition with the most likes.
Yeah, we have to say,
I had
for
125 likes so far now,
For anyone that's been missing this, throughout the last month, people have been posting what they're grateful for. And in the last week, it became a photo like contest based on Instagram, but across all social media platforms. So whichever grateful picture got the most likes, and Bridget is far in the lead, and we will announce.
Oh, you don't have to say that, Sarah.
We will announce the official winner at the end of this Facebook Live. So throwing that out there. I'm going to pop it over to Lindsay, who is a new face to Interfaith Philadelphia as well, to introduce yourself and kick us off.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. My name is Lindsay Chow. I'm the Communications and Program Associate for Interfaith Philadelphia. I joined the staff in mid-October, and I'm really excited to be here and to be getting to work with and learn with all of you. So one of the first questions that we were going to start with today is just about how you spent your Thanksgiving weekend. How was it? How did you celebrate? And were there any particular highlights that you might want to share? Oh, don't all talk at once.
So
I can
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. So my Thanksgiving was at home. It was quiet in that it was just my immediate family and my sister's family, but quiet isn't sort of in question and quotation marks because my sister has a 4.5-year-old, so that sort of blows out the definition of quiet. But it was fun, and since we're talking about Interfaith Philadelphia, so when my family gets together, it by definition is an interfaith event. So my sister grew up obviously with me. We're in a Muslim household. She's married somebody who's Protestant, and little Noah goes to preschool at a JCC. So that's our Thanksgiving event.
So my Thanksgiving was very quiet too, and I didn't make a turkey, but I made my first turkey breast. Okay, so to me that was like super cool. All right, because I've never done it before. So I'm from North Carolina, so typically I host Thanksgiving one year and I go home the opposite year. So this was my year to go home, but I went home to North Carolina last month, so I decided not to go back and to just have like a pretty chill Thanksgiving. So I did cook for a party of one, and I have to tell you, I did really good. I bought myself new pajamas and new, matching slippers. And I had Thanksgiving dinner, and I watched Hallmark, and I put up my Christmas decorations, and it was really good and peaceful. And I was just so thankful to just have that moment to just sit and reflect. So it was really good.
Okay, my turn, right? Okay, so I have 2 kids, both are in college, so they came home. That was super lovely. And so it wasn't quiet. And, you know, my son plays the piano, my daughter sings, they're doing a duet there. And we cooked together a little bit because it wasn't, we decided to, I'm not from the US, my family's from Luxembourg. So I'm displaced displaced within the world. And I have a couple of other friends that don't have immediate family here. So we all got together and had actually food from all over the world. So there was some Middle Eastern, some Indian, some Turkey, and it was just lovely. And then I didn't even think about it, but we had people from Africa, from India, from the Middle East, from the US. So it was a very sweet, little diverse group of people. It was very nice. When I think of Thanksgiving, I don't think of the story that we're being told behind it, but you know, just I think it's a wonderful holiday in the sense that family comes together and it's peaceful and everybody loves one another. So
Yeah,
Thank you all.
my family did. My siblings came in. We all had our little COVID test lollipops, the at-home COVID tests that look like lollipops. I don't know if you've seen the at-home ones, but you have the stick with the test and then you put it in this little packet and it kind of looks like a lollipop. Anyway, so we did all of that, but it was really nice to see all of my siblings together, which I don't know if that's happened since I moved back to America a year and a half ago. So that was really nice. And then the holiday of Hanukkah also started this weekend. And we had within my siblings, 2 of us are dating non-Jews also. And so it was their first Hanukkah actually. And, you know, they knew some songs from, you know, school choirs or whatever. But it was really nice to eat some latkes and get the holiday kicked off really early this year. It doesn't normally come this close to Thanksgiving, but, you know, I just ate a ton of dairy food at Thanksgiving. Why not add on to it with now eating extra dairy donuts and fried potatoes, you know? And Moji, you also, there are 2 Baha'i holidays this year in November, right?
Yes. And where the Baha'i world just commemorated and celebrated the life of, commemorated the 100th year anniversary of the passing of Abdul Baha, who was the oldest son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith. And he actually, once he was released from prison after 40 years of imprisonment, at the age of 68, he spent about a year in the United States, including in Philadelphia. And he spoke at the Baptist Church at Temple University, as well as another church in Philadelphia. And he actually spent physically he was at Rittenhouse Hotel, which is now apartments. That's where he stayed. And also he visited a home of a very early believer, Mrs. Ravel, and that house was acquired a while ago and it's now open to visit. So I got to visit that house in North Philadelphia, actually close to where Interfaith Philadelphia is, for the first time on Saturday also. So, yeah.
Wow, these all sound great. It sounds like a really festive time, not just with people's Thanksgiving celebrations, but with everything. There's lots of things to celebrate and participate in right now. I love hearing about people's different like family and like traditional experiences. It's really exciting to hear all the different ways people spend this time of year together. Let's see. So our next question is actually about the social media campaign we've been running over the last month. Since the start of November, we have been sharing what people are grateful for, leading all the way up to Giving Tuesday today. So we were wondering if any of you would be willing to share what you're grateful for, specifically in the greater Philadelphia region, what you are grateful for about the people, places, experiences that are here as we continue fundraising today on Giving Tuesday and looking toward the work that we can continue doing. I know some of you actually already shared your gratitude posts on Facebook with us. Moji's, yours was last Thursday. It was really beautiful. But after taking the weekend to reflect on more of what makes this region something for all of us to be grateful for, what's your grateful?
So I'll start. I have a couple of things. So one thing in particular, so being in the supplier diversity space, being able to see the small business owners really use, Black Friday and the Cyber Weekend to have their businesses revived a little bit. For me, I'm grateful for that. And that was one of the things. And the other thing that I'm grateful for as well is that not only have I been able to see that, but have I gotten a chance to experience a cohort to see, 21 other business owners, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who have just now really committed to learning how to scale their businesses. And so for me, that was important. And I'm grateful for that because it stimulates our local economy. And I want to see people recover, for how the pandemic has impacted their lives. I don't want to see people, not without jobs, not without healthcare, any of those types of things. So for me, that was a blessing to see how the business owners now are really, making that comeback. And then to also having conversations with people, and when you physically or hear some of the struggles that people have had through the pandemic, and so they have not given in to struggles, whether or not it was losing a family member, losing a job, to hear the positivity for people to feel like that, yeah, these things happen and I'm hurting because they happen, but I've chosen not to give up. So for me, that's rewarding, because when you have all of these things you're facing and to still have some form of gratitude, some form of thankfulness, and some form of positivity, for me, that was very important, and I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Bridget. Definitely agree with you.
I can share about things that I'm grateful for. I guess grateful for opportunities to learn and to share. So at both places, there's been chances to learn new things, have conversations. Just think the week before, actually at the beginning of Thanksgiving week, we had a speaker here on campus for our students, and it led to a really engaging conversation. And so that's something that I really enjoyed with Interfaith Philadelphia too. Like, I just was part of this Passport series, which Interfaith Philadelphia puts on several times a year, that really helps engage a small cohort of people to have meaningful conversations. And then we're also doing lots of things around religious literacy. So if I find interesting conversations and points to learn, both in my Interfaith Philadelphia work, but in other areas that I'm involved with too. So I'm really grateful for those interactions and those experiences.
Moji, did you want to speak to that one?
Yeah, I don't have much to add after all those lovely points of gratitude. But I'm thinking when I joined Interfaith Philadelphia a few years ago, since then there was already so much going on in terms of programming and the impact that this organization has made on society and in different communities. But each time I look at the programming, I see new things. And at this point, I feel like, whoa, there's so many ways that the Interfaith Philadelphia is making impact, from young people, the youth programs, the women's programs, the the religious council program, the the work with racial justice, and I'm just really grateful that there are organizations such as Interfaith that is where the members are rising above the limitations and the barriers, the man-made barriers, and actively working on creating a better society. So, and Philadelphia, I mean, the name is beautiful, the city of brotherly love, and there's so much potential that we have in cities in the United States, because it is really an amalgamous of people of different backgrounds. I mean, look at us here, right? I mean, you look at our faces, and you can see that we're from different parts of the world originally. And this is what America is about. And if America can become united in its diversity, then how it will be a shining light for the rest of the world. So, and it starts with individuals, community, organizations, institutions.
Thanks. And I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to that. But first, I want anyone who's joining us right now on Facebook Live, welcome to our Giving Tuesday discussion. Today is Giving Tuesday, and we're asking for your support to help Interfaith Philadelphia continue to be able to reach more people in the region and bring people together and have those tough conversations that are difficult to have, but important for us to understand one another. So thank you for joining us today. And so Moji, my follow-up question is, as when you came into Interfaith Philadelphia, whenever, which I think was before you joined the board, but did Interfaith Philadelphia, and I have this question for the rest of you too, to answer after Moji too, did getting involved in Interfaith Philadelphia affect how you saw the greater Philadelphia region?
I feel more connected to the greater Philadelphia region. And it is quite empowering to be part of a program through which, as an individual, I believe that everybody as an individual, even our thoughts have an effect. Our thoughts, our words, the way we live, our actions. But if we're together, we have so much more of an effect on a particular outcome. So I feel the strength of this organization helping me feel more empowered to live my life according to the principles that I'm trying to follow.
Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, and I'll open that question up. Has Interfaith Philadelphia affected how you view or interact with the region?
So I'll say for me, being a part of Interfaith, even though I'm a new member, it has helped strengthen my connections. And so because a lot of the work that I do is externally facing, and I'm out in the community a lot. And so from the community engagement aspect, it has caused me to view things in a different, of course, they're working outside my house. I'm sorry, y'all. Caused me to view things and view people in a different way. So yeah, it has. And in a more inclusive way. Yeah.
Yes, for me, I mean, I sort of, academically or intellectually knew that we had in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley area, a lot of diversity in our faith and value traditions, but my connections and experiences with those different traditions has greatly expanded. So it's not just like, oh, I know there's other folks. I have met folks, I've attended different sacred spaces. And it's just not an experience, it's ongoing weekly, monthly experiences that build. So I think that those are, and it's been both internally. So that's sort of an external piece, but every one of those experiences also helps me, reminds me of something in my own tradition. And then it allows me or gives me impetus to go search for that similar truth, understanding, practice, ethos that I find in my tradition. So it helps me grow externally and internally.
I love that. I just finished reading the Bridges Book Club, which is the new Interfaith book club that the alumni are running. Was reading this month Holy Envy. I forget the name of the author, but I just finished.
Barbara Brown Taylor.
Oh my goodness. I finished listening to it this morning on my ride into work. And Ashik, it's exactly that, right? That's like, she talks about how the more that she learns about other faith traditions, she was worried it was going to make her question her own faith or spirituality, and found that instead she was able to find these connections and also come away with holy envy, but not in a way that weakened her tradition, but strengthened it, and made her go back into her own tradition to seek other things out. Amazing. I know, Moji, I know you have to leave in a minute, so I want to give you a chance to just say one last thing. If you want to add anything before you have to hop off.
They will call me when the time comes. No, I'm just really feel very grateful for being here right now. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity and inviting me to be here in this space. Just again, I want to say that Interfaith Philadelphia is a very, very special organization that strives to destroy the barriers that have been placed artificially between humans. So, yeah.
Thanks. And I'll just also add, you've just unrelated and related to who you are as a person, but just thank you for being here, for being part of Interfaith Philadelphia, and also for, continuing to serve patients and treat patients throughout the last year and a half, which I'm sure has not been easy. But thank you for all you do every day.
Thanks for being here, Moji.
Lindsay, want to kick us our next question?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about what Ashik just said about how the work is internal and external, and at its best, hopefully something that doesn't just kind of influence just one part of our lives or communities, but one that actually kind of kicks off this dynamic generative growth. And so with that in mind, I was wondering if any of you would be willing to speak to where you think the most important place for the impact of this work is. As some of you have alluded to, we do a lot of different kinds of programming and outreach. There's a lot of different ways to be involved, and also a lot of different places that people return to with the insights and skills that they've worked on with us. So where do you think that impact is maybe most meaningful and most important in your own experience? I can't seem to ask these questions concisely. They're just really big ideas.
Okay, so can you repeat the question again? Because I have an answer in mind, but I want to make sure that I'm answering it appropriately.
So what do you think is the most important place for the impact of Interfaith Philadelphia's work? Or where do you think our work makes the most important impact?
Okay, so from a DEI lens, I would say, continue to create an inclusive culture. I think that's very important. So I joined the DEI committee, and one of the things that we're really going to start working on soon is really finalizing coming up with what Interfaith DEI statement is. And so I think one way we can make the biggest impact is that making sure that our messaging matches the transformation that we provide. And so when I say transformation, I say it from the perspective of you can't help but come into the presence of some of the interfaith board members or interfaith people that I've met, and you immediately feel transformation. You immediately feel, that you belong here. You immediately feel those things. And I think making sure that message is out into the community, from a DEI perspective, will be one of our greatest areas of impact.
Awesome. Thanks, Bridget.
I agree. I mean, I'm also on the DEI committee, and so is Ashik, I think, or at least you were, right? Yeah. And to me, not having been raised in the United States, I see racial prejudice as the most urgent and challenging issue that this country is facing. And so anything that can be a step towards race unity is, I think, of utmost importance. And I'm very happy that Interfaith Philadelphia is tackling that issue also head on, as much as, you know, we're trying to figure it out. But I'm very happy about that.
And if I could just add one other thing to that, and I agree with everything. Make sure I say your name correct. Moji, is that correct? Okay, I agree with what Moji said. And I have never seen an organization that comes together made up of people of so many different faiths. And even though we all have our own personal faiths, you still feel included. And so for me, that's important. So it's not like anyone is being singled out or because of their beliefs. It is the inclusive atmosphere, and it's more of the collaboration of everybody coming together, you know, with one mind and, you know, one thought process, and that is to make change and to make an impact in the community. So I think that is something that's just like, I've never heard of it until I came in contact with Interfaith. So like, I think that's like our secret power, like our secret sauce that, we come from all different backgrounds. And so we can show you that we can come from different backgrounds, different faiths, different beliefs, but for one common mission, and that we're all committed to this mission. And y'all tell me to be quiet when you get ready, because I get passionate about certain things. But here's the thing, whenever you commit to being a board member or commit to being part of a nonprofit, you're giving of yourself and you're giving of your time. And so for me, my time means more than my money right now. Right now, my time is my highest form of currency. So when I'm giving you my time, that means that I'm giving it to somebody who I know that is going to manage it well, someone who is going to manage the program or the initiatives. And so when you get to an organization like Interfaith, you know, we immediately see the rewards and the impact because of you see the lives of the people that are being connected and are being changed. And one thing I've learned is this: people may not physically always tell you how much they appreciate you, but you can see it in their actions. You know, you can have a conversation and you can be like, oh yeah, I know where they got that from. Yep, they was a part of the passport. That's where they got that from. Yep, they was a part of this. I know where they got that from. So seeing things like that, that shows you that what you're doing is working. And so I think those things are very, very important.
You know, especially in a society that's so divided, where everybody does the othering, you know, I'm right, everybody is wrong. Mm-hmm. Learning to just look at everybody as us without othering is really, you know, going to make an impact, I believe. Mm-hmm.
You know, you were mentioning what's the most impactful. So most is always difficult, so I'll share a couple things that came to mind. So couple of years ago, Interfaith Philadelphia did training for FEMA frontline workers. So on the face of it, that sounds nice, but try to imagine what that means. That means somebody who is at a moment of trauma, has lost their home, has lost something. They're going to be interacting with somebody who's in a position of helping, but that person is going to be helping with a greater knowledge and sensitivity of, you know, different faith traditions, different cultures, and how to reach out and touch that person in that moment of need, and not do something that exacerbates that person's trauma at that moment, right? We talked a little bit about the youth program that we have, the Walking the Walk program. That's fun, but it's so proactive. It heads off biases and issues and things before they develop, and then these students become leaders in college. Like they become leaders in their first jobs to be able to articulate that difference doesn't have to be conflict. It can be something that can be embraced. And the last program that came to mind was the civil conversation. We talked about divisiveness and challenges the last couple of years. Civil conversations programming, took off, was highly attended, sort of had spin-off programs, and it showed that people really wanted to engage across differences. Like there is some benefit and solace when you sort of preach to the choir, but people understand that there's a need to converse across differences. And Interfaith Philadelphia provided a program to create that bridge. So those are three things that came to mind about what's impactful in the program.
So can I comment? Because I like what you just said. And so for the civil conversations, I didn't get a chance to participate in that, but it sounds similar to what we've done. It's called Brave Conversations, and Brave stands for bold, relevant, authentic, valuable, and education. And so we launched those sessions right after the murder of Mr. George Floyd. And so one of the things that I've learned through those Brave Conversations is that when you say having the conversations, around differences, that it's okay to have differences. I think the key component here was us being able to listen. And I think a lot of times people just want somebody just to listen to them. We're not always asking for you to give us a solution that's going to change the world all with the blink of an eye, but, just being heard. And I think that was important. And so when you was talking, and I was just thinking about, all the different faiths, all the different beliefs, it's important that they're heard, and I think that's important.
Yeah, wow. I mean, there's so many sparks here to pull on. It's like, I'm just thinking about how long this conversation could go.
And I like your t-shirt, by the way, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's part of our new, keep an eye out in your email, everyone, coming early next week. We are now selling Interfaith Philadelphia. I'm wearing a short sleeve V-neck, but there's lots of options. Keep an eye out if you're looking to update your wardrobe or give any gifts in the next month or two. Anyway, just throwing that out there. And so, okay, once again, anyone that's just joining us now on Facebook, welcome. We are here in this incredible conversation about impact and diversity and difference here on Giving Tuesday with staff and board members and people that are, that help enrich my life every day. And you can, definitely, if you're just joining us now, bounce back and see what you've missed. And also I've dropped links about what people have been referencing in the chat, as well as a link to donate today on Giving Tuesday. So
let me add one thing real quick while you're doing the commercial. And so I tagged a lot of my friends and followers, in the post, which is what I was doing now. So I want to say to everybody that's part of the Bridget Battles community, make sure you go and like Interfaith community, like all of the social media pages, the Instagram, the Facebook, the LinkedIn. Make sure you go and like the page. We definitely want to increase our brand representation, and we want to increase the impact that we're making. And the way that we do that is by connecting. So family and friends, please go and like the post. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, important. So, okay, I'm going to hone in on something that was mentioned. Someone mentioned the passport to understanding. And we have quite literally a passport that takes people through, these 5 practices that we look at as kind of the foundation for interfaith dialogue. Moji, you have to go. Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Just want to say something very quickly about the passport. I had left one of them on my desk in the office, and my nurse came and said, "Hey, I saw your passport. I put it away. I was afraid somebody was going to take it." And I started laughing and I said, it's okay. Anybody can take it because it's lovely. So it was a couple of years ago.
Amazing.
It was lovely being here. Unfortunately, I have to get going. And
Thanks for joining us.
I'll watch the rest later. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks
Please
so
do
much.
donate, everybody.
Thank you so much, Moji, for joining us. So the passport has these 5 practices, right? Stand tall, stand with, welcome in, be curious, and venture out. So those 5 practices we kind of see as the foundation for engaging in interfaith dialogue and in interfaith work. And so I wanted to ask all of us on this call the question of, what is the passport practice that you have used most recently? And what is one that you wish you used more often? And I will put them in
the program yet, but so read them again, the 5.
I'm going to put them in the chat, both in the video and in here. But so it's be curious, welcome in, venture out, stand with, and stand tall.
Okay. So the question is, which one have we used and which one have we wished we would have used? Okay.
So
Ashik, I know you, oh, sorry. Yeah. No, Lindsay, you just finished the course too that Ashik facilitated, I think.
That was what I was going to say. Ashik was one of my group co-facilitators on the Passport online program that just finished, like the remote version. So I can't speak for him, but I can say, one, that his facilitation skills were very impressive, and that I had a really enjoyable time talking not only with him, but with this entire cohort about these different practices. And I think looking at them, they all feel very relevant, but I really appreciated the invitation to venture out. I think it's really easy for me personally to kind of stay in spaces and conversations, particularly when it comes to religion and spirituality, where I feel really comfortable. And I appreciated the encouragement and the structure for how to engage others without having to necessarily relinquish my own traditions or totally adopt. It was really an invitation to experience other forms of faith practice and belief as a visitor, and to really lean into what it means to be a visitor and to be a learner. And so that's something that I both really appreciated and hope to continue using more. So thanks, Ashik.
So I think, the program that we were all a part of, it was really like a group experience. And that's the thing, you had a couple people sort of facilitating, but it's really everybody conversing and learning from each other. And so for me, it was the welcoming in and venturing out part is kind of interesting. And for me, I guess welcoming in can be, because sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it can be challenging. So venturing out, so you go into another space, and there's apprehensions that go into going into an unfamiliar place, but it's sort of outside of your special sacred home. Welcoming in can be challenging because you're opening up your private place, your sacred place. And so, but I think that there are two sides of a similar place of the heart, but they're just different actions. And I find them interesting. And I find welcoming in the thing that I need to make effort and intentionality around.
So the one that I use all the time is stand tall. As you could tell, I'm very confident. I'm very confident. So, and I'm not easily intimidated. So stand tall is one I use all the time. And so I'm not going to say it's one I wished I would use more. I'm going to say it's one I probably need to use more. Okay. And so that one is I probably need to be more curious. And I think that one of the things about me is that once I come up with a plan and a strategy, like, it works. I don't care if you've upgraded the software, you've upgraded whatever. Like, I probably should be more curious about it, that you've added more bells and whistles, but I'm like, nope, it works. So, so I guess I should probably be more curious, but I'm not. Yeah.
I think for me, I was thinking that recently I think be curious / venture out is what I did the most recently. I attended my first Catholic service. It was a funeral service for a friend's father who unfortunately passed away. But it was my first time. I mean, I feel like in high school I went to a midnight mass on Christmas, or like middle school, but I don't have any recollection of it. And so it came with a lot of curiosity. Afterwards I had a lot of questions that I was able to ask. And that was a really interesting experience for me. And I think the one that I would like to do more of is the welcoming in, which is something that I love. And COVID has put a damper on my ability to welcome people in, and among other things, but I'm, looking forward to be able to do that again. Yeah.
Sarah, I would love to talk more about your experience at the Mass after the live. We could have a fun chat.
Amazing. I guess we'll just ask one last question, and then we'll officially announce the winner of the photo light contest.
Oh, let me get my speech ready. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So anyone, again, I'll just do, for anyone just joining us or who's been with us, you can still donate. We've still got almost slightly over 11 hours left in the day to donate today for Giving Tuesday, and the link is in the chat. But so the last question is, what is one thing that you know about Interfaith Philadelphia that you wish your friends got to see, or you wish your friends had the experience of, or knew, or something like that?
So for me, I would say, from a ministry and faith perspective, I would love to see more of my faith-based community become more a part of what Interfaith does.
Thanks. Ashik, you're up.
I guess, any of the programmings, but I think some of the sort of longer range programmings, like we do things that are just a talk or an event. And if that's what people's schedule allows for, it'd be great to have people attend those and get a taste of the type of feelings and programming that they can be part of. But I think what I really enjoyed is the longer range programming, the things that are like 3 sessions, 6 sessions, 8 sessions, where you get to know a group of people, a cohort, a group of new friends. Obviously, over the last couple of years, it's been via Zoom, which the downside is it's not in person, and you don't have that sort of random social interaction. But the upside is our programming is attended from anywhere. And so the Passport cohort that Lindsay and I were part of, we had people dialing in from Idaho, California, Utah, bringing their regional traditions, faith traditions, cultural traditions to us here in the Delaware Valley. So I think those for me, those longer range programs help develop friends, ties, and meaningful conversations. So that's what I would hope that people would get involved with.
I'd love to just add to that, that I think what I would love to share with my friends, family, and loved ones is really just how meaningful the connections can be when people collectively enter into conversation about what moves them and what kind of gives meaning in their lives. I think had I not come to this work by virtue of my prior work in ministry, often in Catholic schools, Catholic campus ministry, if I hadn't been connected to communities, or if people hadn't been connected to their congregations, sometimes they don't necessarily think of interfaith work or interfaith dialogue as a priority, but interfaith discussions and the ability to share and connect with people of different faith traditions has been one of the richest interpersonal experiences that I've really had in recent years. And I wish that more people could see that and could join in, because I think it has really been such a powerful experience for me, and I think for others as well.
And I think for myself, so a lot of my world is interfaith without necessarily explicitly talking about it. My friends and family, we bring each other into our holidays, but we don't, necessarily get any, we don't necessarily have the more difficult conversations. There's so much I don't know about spirituality and traditions of my friends and family, because we just don't talk about it. And I think that my last year has been really eye-opening in that it hasn't just been those explorations, but has also, for myself, but has also changed the way that I want to engage with the people around me, and deepened it. It's like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm surrounded by interfaith all the time, but no, it's there's so much more that there can be to it if we give ourselves the opportunity to dive in and ask the questions.
And we don't get involved in these things for a particular output, but there are so many sort of benefits that come from it that we weren't even planning for. So, in the cohort that we were part of, somebody who had never written poetry in their life wrote a really wonderful poem about their experience.
It was beautiful.
And somebody else is going to be taking this skill set into community and public service in their area. Somebody else was taking it on to their campus. I had a conversation with a cousin who lives overseas in South Asia, and she was intrigued by it and not finding these types of conversations and looking to, cultivate a circle in her area. So our ideas and our conversations can spark just beautiful unintended consequences.
Thanks. Well, as we come to a close, I want to thank you both for joining us. First, we'll do the official announcement. The winner of the #Grateful November month of gratitude photo contest is, drum roll, please, Bridget Battles.
Yay! Thank you.
I know we are all shocked by this news. It was very close. It wasn't close at all. But thank you for participating and for so enthusiastically sharing the Grateful campaign with your followers, Bridget.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit more and to helping, us really grow our social media a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
So are we. And so Bridget will be in touch afterwards. You are officially the new owner of an Interfaith Philadelphia t-shirt.
Listen, I'll do a whole photo shoot once you see.
Careful, we might take you up on that.
Yeah.
And I'll also say that there is still a chance to win. We are also doing a drawing at the end of the day out of all of the posts that have been posted throughout the month. So if you haven't posted yet and you want to enter into the drawing, snap a picture, tag Interfaith Philadelphia, make sure your privacy settings let us see it, and tell us what you're grateful for in the region. And enter
Lindsay, I want to post that saying I'm the winner. Okay, I want to post. Okay.
I will get working on that. I will get on Canva right after this, Bridget.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for this
Thank you so
amazing
much.
discussion. And again, anyone that missed it, definitely look back. And we hope that you'll consider donating to our Giving Tuesday campaign. It really helps us it'll help us start 2022 off and a strong foundation to be able to continue to do the work that we do that we talked so much about here. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your Giving Tuesday.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.